Go.
Good evening. Welcome to What's New. Tonight we have some lovely guests, and we were going to have our citizen to
Introduction.
introduce them. Excuse me, I got hung up.
Okay, tonight we have 4 guests. We have
Yes.
Sam Collum and Zachary, and they are going to tell you about Rust and, do you have another name for
Only
your
Child
other one?
Originals.
And Only Child Originals. And we have Toby Carrick. He is our editor of our St. John Herald. And we have Lance Bonert, and he's something else.
We don't know what he is.
He did Taekwondo. Do you still do that?
Hey, I still do that too. I'm taking one of the
Okay.
kids out there also, so we'll get to that.
Okay. So anyway, tonight Sam's going to go first.
Hello.
You can tell them a little bit about yourself, what made you do what you're doing, or something like that. Everybody thinks that's pretty interesting when people tell about.
Well, I'm Sam Conlon, and I have a couple of shops on Main Street. Only Child Originals, which is a jewelry store, and then Rust, where I have 6 local artists, all women by happenstance. So in Rust, we have a couple of knitters who quilt, a crocheter who paints, a paper artist, my metalwork, and a painter, all in Rust, right across the street from Only Child Originals on Main Street.
Paper filigree artist.
She
I
did.
said,
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's her daughter.
Says Mama.
That's Mama. She wants to make sure that's said.
Yep, it's very important.
That's okay. You're forgiven.
So for Rust, I do metalwork where I do pictures using a torch in either cans or in barn roof. I make candle holders and lampshades, either hanging lampshades or standing lampshades, and then candle holders. Here I have those little, from the dollar store, right here in town, just little battery operated candles that work great in those. These are really cool because they cast perfect shadows of themselves onto the walls, and they just look really pretty. They glow very nicely. And then with the big cans, I actually get the cans from our local public school. So every year I'm an annual field trip for the entire 3rd grade. My son Zach was on the first field trip. That was a few years ago, huh? And they walk down from school with their cans in their hands, and I get to show them what I make because their school recycles. And all the artists that I house for free because their school recycles, and the buildings that are getting fixed up from the money that I make off of the metalwork in Rust. That store's purpose is to finance the restoration of my 3 historic buildings. So I make an entire line of products out of things that would have gone to the recycling center or the dump. And I get to restore these 3 beautiful historic buildings because of it. And then Zach and I live off of the jewelry store right across the street. And I've had that shop for
Quite a while.
How many years
I
is it
think
now?
18.
18
Is it
already?
been that
I
long?
think in
Oh my
November it's
gosh.
going to be 17, 18, or 19.
Oh my gosh.
been a
Do you
while.
know,
Yeah.
I've talked to people that don't know where you are.
I still every week get locals who come in and say, "What a cute new shop! How long have you been here?"
Half my life, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Show them your tree. I think that is, It's
I
so
don't know if we'll
intricate.
be able to see. Yeah. Oh, can you hold that up? Got it. All right.
She
so,
does such
yeah, you're never going to be able to.
beautiful work,
These
yeah.
are so much better lit, but this is a swirly.
he's
yeah, you're
coming in
never
on
going to
it
be able to
there.
see that. Can you?
there, he's
Oh,
got
that's
it.
pretty good.
Great.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
right.
there.
So there's a tree in there.
And when it's lit in the evening, it casts shadows on the walls that
Yeah.
are beautiful. Yeah.
Now, this is metal.
This is the roof of a 100-year-old barn that a friend and I tore down in Marquand about
Okay.
7 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a flat sheet of tin, so I have to spend a whole day just cutting 12-inch strips. And then I roll them, clamp them, and screw them and turn them into cylinders.
That is beautiful.
So these without a lid just go over a candle or over an existing lamp. I make them also much taller if you have big lamps that are ugly and you just want
Cover 'em up.
ambiance. And then I also make them that have lids attached to them that have a hole that a light kit hangs into, so it's a hanging lamp. And those are just beautiful. I love
They
this whole line of stuff. And then Zach here is holding up some earrings that I made over the last couple of weeks for Only Child Originals. I haven't been able to make a whole lot of jewelry lately because I've been doing a lot of
Sam,
welding.
I wonder if you put it on this side of your metal.
No, he's
thing.
got it.
Has he got them? Okay.
Her
He's trying to-
jewelry is actually very
Oh,
beautiful.
it's gorgeous.
I mean, it doesn't show up on TV very well, but,
No.
No, it's very
but
pretty.
it is, it's gorgeous. Everybody should go down and tour her shop.
Yeah, it's a pretty store, whether you like jewelry or not.
It is.
It looks cool.
It is, oh.
The racks are all made, I make
How much-
everything locally, so the racks are made out of driftwood from the Mississippi. The cans come from all my friends and neighbors and the school.
And all her racks in her store are so creative. I mean, it's like you walk in there and you're like, oh my God, how'd you think of that? You know? You do screen doors and
Yep,
just
and windows.
just everything under the sun.
Yep, I am a big fan of dumpster diving, poor kid. Huh. We drive by a dumpster, I start slowing down, he's like, no, Mom, no, Mom, no, no. I'm like, but honey,
People throw nice
dumpsters
things
are the
away.
best.
Now, the can that you've got shaped out like a lantern.
Yeah, this is
That's
new.
a cool idea.
Thank
Oh my
you. Yeah, I'm
gosh.
really excited about this. For
Now,
the
that's
last
just a
7
vegetable
years,
can?
I've been doing cylinders, just a regular shaped can. I didn't realize that if I cut it a certain way, I can actually bend them and mold them with my thumbs and make them into shapes.
That
That
is
is
beautiful.
So now I have a
beautiful.
whole nother, they have a much more lantern looking feel to them.
And they look, those are more rustic, the other ones, and these are more elegant.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So I'm very excited
Those are
about
beautiful.
those.
And you do the little and the big cans.
Yep, you can go teeny tiny. Tea lights are little itty bitty, so I can use cat food and tuna fish cans. I'll take it all. Make ornaments. I make a lot of them that are hanging, so you can hang them out in your garden on a shepherd's hook or.
And these are something you don't have to bring in the winter.
That's right.
You just
And I put
take the little candle out
I
of
put
it.
drainage holes in the bottoms of all of them so that if they are outside, they don't fill up with water. Because I made some candle holders when I first moved here 18 years ago and put them in my garden. And they hung there with candles in them for 12 or 13 years before the bottoms fell
Right.
out because I never dumped the water out. I'm terrible at that. And I assume that other people are terrible at that too. So once I realized that that would happen, I started putting drainage holes in the bottoms.
And they're
of
really
everything.
cute what you put down there. They're cute what you put down there.
Yes.
I mean, you put designs down there, not just holes.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's this one actually has a lot of designs because sometimes, depending on where you're hanging it, it'll cast the shadow down as well. So some of them have very pierced bottoms, and some of them are just one little star. But now we are on a rock painting kick. This rock painting thing, I don't know if how many people have seen it around, but you find painted rocks around town, and I just think this is wonderful. A few years ago, it was Pokemon Go or whatever that was that made people crash their cars and walk into telephone poles and just on their computers the whole time. So this is, you paint a rock, you get an art project, then you can put a sticker on the back of it that says, if you find this rock, take a picture of it and put it on this website. And then you can keep it or you can re-hide it for somebody else to find. So you get to go all around your town and place these rocks and at the same time find rocks, which
Why
you
don't you
cannot
get 'em over
do
here?
with a phone in
Why
your
don't you get 'em
hand.
over here where we can be
I
looking
think
at 'em?
he put the rocks
He's
over there
pulling
so
them
you
over
can see
there
'em.
so he can see them.
Can you get in on the rocks?
There
So
they
Zach
are,
and I
there they
have
are.
been
He's
painting
got 'em.
rocks. Yeah.
You can pick them up if you want, and just hold them where he
Oh, no,
can
they-
see them.
So Zach just did this one. I really like it. Be the Light. It's got a little light bulb on there. But you can do anything. You can just put random colors on. I've been doing mandala kind of things. I discovered that there are paint pens.
Right.
It kind of changed my whole world. Paint pens? So you can do detail stuff. So with a paintbrush, I do backgrounds, and then I use the paint pens to do foregrounds. And Zach did a nice little sunset and water scene. And Be the Light and a rainbow. Life's always better with rainbows, right? So we're gonna, we painted these, and we've got the little stickers on the back now. And I want a
Turn one over,
polyurethane.
Sam. Turn it over and show the back of, a pretty big one.
So
You know.
I've been writing peace rocks and joy rocks and love rocks on the back.
He's trying to catch you. There you go. Yeah.
But the website is St. Genevieve Rocks that you post your pictures on, and I just think it's so cool. We found some really great ones. We found this one that's a little painter's palette.
Hold it up again. He's
There.
almost got you.
There you go.
There.
Yeah,
There.
yeah, that's a good spot.
That's a cute one.
Yeah,
too.
you can tell
cute.
it's got different colors all over it and splotched paint. And we found this cute little thing. And I love that, anybody, a 2-year-old kid can paint, grandma can paint, you can all sit there. It doesn't matter how it turns out when you're done, because whoever find it is gonna be delighted no matter what. So
Yes.
it just makes happy people all around, painting them is stinking fun. And then wandering around town and actually checking out what's going on in our little downtown area. I love everything about it.
It is.
And Zach and I got to do some art together. That's always fun. It's a great parents and kids get together and be silly thing. You could put paint all over your hands and just touch rocks.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Have fun. Did you read that one on there? That little 2-year-old that found it was so excited.
Oh, yeah?
And they
No.
posted it.
Oh, no.
So there's lots of really pretty pictures on St. John Rocks.
Yeah, and apparently it's pretty
Website.
prolific because there
Yeah.
are a lot of pictures
Yeah,
out there.
There is.
I think it's really catching on, and I hope it keeps going. But anytime anybody wants, notice is good. But I have all kinds of paints and all kinds of paintbrushes, and we're collecting rocks whenever we can. So you can come by Only Child Originals or Rust anytime and paint your own rocks for free. You can use my paints and my brushes, and I am happy to provide. If you bring your own rocks, that's great, because it's
They're
not
kinda
easy
hard
to
to
find
find.
really good flat ones.
Yes, you have to watch.
I got really, really lucky in my friend Sam Scott and her kids heard that I was going to maybe set up a table for Jour de Fête, and they went out and found us a whole bunch of rocks, a bucket full of rocks, and they washed them off and everything and brought them to us.
Yeah.
So we had on Sunday at Jour de Fête, I just had a whole table set up. Everybody could come and paint their own. And I think it's very fun and very worth supporting.
It is,
Yes.
very much.
Get those kids painting rocks.
And another thing Sam does that she didn't bring any examples of, she cuts like butterflies flat.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Tell them about those.
Well, I also do like these. This one I turned into a cylinder, but I also make butterflies and dragonflies that are all pierced and pretty that can hang in a tree or on a wall. And they will also cast shadows. And then I also make signs that have words or signs with trees and dragonflies and stuff that you can hang in a sunny window, and it'll cast a giant shadow of the scene onto your floor or wall, whatever's there by the window. So they
Profiles
make peace, huh?
and profiles.
Oh, and nudes. I do nudes. Everybody
Yes,
likes
she
a
does.
naked lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They
I
are,
do.
they're really neat.
Yeah. And suns and moons and stars,
Yeah,
Christmas
everything.
ornaments, all kinds of things to hang in your trees. And if you want a whimsical garden,
And
I
they're
am
very-
definitely the place to
yeah,
come.
And they're very beautiful hanging, and they're very inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
Nice
Oh,
for
yes.
little tuck-in gifts.
Prices are good.
Yeah, prices are really
I know
good.
Lisa likes to say that Sam makes jewelry over there, makes beautiful jewelry, and when she gets tired of playing with that stuff, she comes over and cuts the tin up.
That's right. Play with torches.
Plays with torches, that's it, yeah.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, it's a nice life. We just make stuff all the time.
How did you get involved into this part of it with it?
I needed lighting for only child, and I went shopping for lighting and realized right away, never in a million years was I going to be able to afford lighting for my store. So I went home and made some. I always wanted things that casted shadows. I must have seen something when I was a kid. I don't remember it, but I've always thought of lights that cast shadows. So I made some out of paper first, but they weren't very hardy. And I had some, when I bought my house, there was some aluminum flashing in the shed in the back. And so I made one, I'm sorry, babe, you're holding this up this whole time. I made one that, out of aluminum flashing, and pierced it with my arc welder, which was the welder I had at the time, and loved it right away, and it made an explosion in my head of all kinds of lampshade ideas, but I never had enough metal to do all the things in my head. So when we tore down this huge barn, I mean, it was a really big barn, and two of us had it torn down and stacked in 7 days, but then it took us like 20-something trips going back and forth to bring all the stuff back. So then I finally had enough tin to be able to make all the lamps that have been in my head. And I've been working on that tin for 7 years, and it's almost gone.
Oh, my gosh.
And I've made a lot of stuff. I mean, that really went a long way. But here's the really cool thing, that barn that we tore down 7 years ago, all the things that I make out of it, that money goes to the restoration of the 3 buildings. I told you about that. So the stuff made out of that barn has paid for my original water department building. I replaced every window. It had like 55, so I had to cut and glaze and place lots of glass. I got the tuck pointed outside. I got gutters put on. I had to get electric poles put in to get electricity over there. I still don't have water yet, and I'm hoping that the remainder of the metal helps pay for the next round of renovations. And what's happening next, I just had Joe Bowman over there the other day. I've got to get, all 3 of my buildings need new roofs right now.
Where is over there?
Oh, my word.
Sam,
Um,
where's over there?
Right. I own the original water and lighting department for St. Genevieve at the end of Market Street, I guess that is. And that's where that's where my metal studio is. She needs a new roof, and I actually, when I bought that building, I bought it because the roof that's there is beautiful, beautiful, perfectly rusted tin. So the barn that we tore down got us to the point where now I can buy the new roof for that. When I get that new roof replaced, that gives me a whole new pile of materials to make the next round of product that will pay for the next round of renovations.
You recycle a lot.
She's a thinker, too.
Everything, yeah. So,
Forward thinking.
but I just got the estimate for the roofs. So I think I might have to do a GoFundMe page. I had no idea when I started this that I was going to be doing so much welding, and right now I do it outside next to a fan, and I only cut a line for as long as I can hold my breath. And then I back off and let the fan blow the smoke away, and then I go back in. So this all takes me twice as long as it should, because I don't have a proper ventilation system. So if I'm going to get a new roof, now is the time to get an actual proper ventilation system that will suck it right up out of there, and I won't have to hold my breath.
You should put on Facebook what you do and what your problem is, and there's artist lovers out there that would probably fund you.
Right, that's what GoFundMe and Kickstarter are, and I have fabulous friends who I'm sure, I mean, you know, $10 a person could really add up to a new roof, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I am not a kind of person who's very good at sitting down at a computer to make a video, and but I did put on Facebook, do I have any friends who like making videos? And I have a friend who is about to move to Pacific, and
well.
he said he likes to make videos, so hopefully Corey Current, come on Corey, make me a video, and we'll see what happens. Because otherwise we're going to have a hungry couple of years. Huh?
He looks
He's a
And I
baby.
think your tale of how you came to St. Genevieve
Yeah.
is so interesting too, if you want to share it.
Well, I was passing through on a road trip with my friend Zenon, and he was about to go speak at a university or college somewhere around, and we were on our way there and stopped in St. Gen to use a payphone, and he was taking forever, so I was just wandering around and looking in all the shop windows. And I looked in the only child window, which is the original Oberly Smokehouse and Butcher Shop, and looked in that window and saw 2 walls of exposed brick, and I just thought it was a beautiful space, and never thought of having a store. But how much is a small store in small town USA? I have no idea. So I saw the price and I was like, oh, it's not bad, kind of expensive for such a small store in such a small town. And then in fine print on the bottom it said 4-bedroom house. I was like, wait, what? I backed up into the middle of the street and looked up. I'm like, is it the whole building for that price? And I called the number on the sign and said, hi, I'm looking at this for rent sign. Can you tell me what it means? And he said, what do you mean? What does it mean, huh? And I said, well, is this the price for the whole building? He said, yeah, I know it's kind of high. And I was like, so who do I make the check out to? And I was writing a check an hour later. Had no idea what I was going to do with the shop space. Took me a while to realize I'd been making jewelry forever and never thought of selling it. So I thought, well, we'll give this jewelry thing a shot. So I had one little stick with some necklaces on it and one little rack of earrings when I first started. And here I am. I figured at first, when I first moved here, I didn't have cable or anything. I had to make $23 a day to be able to pay for the rent and groceries. So long as I made my $23 a day, I was okay. Gosh, I missed those. That was before you, costly little bugger that you are. It's more than 23 I gotta make now, huh?
So Sam has a very interesting life,
I do. I had a
Very-
very interesting life.
very creative,
Been a
and
very lucky girl.
yes, you are.
Hmm.
And you do a lot with the community too.
I
which
do.
is
I
good.
try my best. Yeah.
So we thank you very much for being on. If you
Thank
have
you.
Very
anything else
interesting.
to say, or you want to promote your roof, come on back. Maybe somebody in town will
Yes,
send you
you'll
some
fund
money.
me.
Just give
You
one of
wanna
us a
sing
call,
me?
call Iris or.
Painting rocks or anything? I kind of moved off the painting rocks thing. Should have got me in there. All right.
So anytime you want to come back, just give us a call,
Thank you very much.
and we might call you if you don't call us.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you'll always have something interesting to show. that's for
Indeed.
Sure.
Yep. I never stop making stuff.
So now we'll move on to Toby or Lance. Who wants to go?
Go ahead, Toby.
Okay. All right, this is our newspaper editor. He, Toby Carey and St. Genevieve Herald, so you can tell them the rest about yourself.
All right. I've actually been in St. Genevieve now for 7.5 years, roughly. Came in as the kind of editor in waiting right before Gene Rissover retired. So it took a little time for learn about the city a little bit and kind of learn from Gene a little bit and how things were done here at the Herald. And then not long after that, she retired. And then a couple years later, the owner Janet Mace and the publisher Bob Burr were also moving toward retirement, and so in 2013 actually purchased the Herald from them. And so for 5 years or so, I've owned the newspaper in addition to being the editor there. I've actually been in Missouri since late 1988. I worked for the Journal newspapers in Jefferson County. I worked for them for about 12 years in different areas around the St. Louis area, and then worked also in other papers in Beaumont, Texas, and Palmdale, California, and Cape Girardeau for 5 years at the Southeast Missourian, before finally ending up here in St. Genevieve.
So what brought you here?
Well, I've liked Missouri since I never had set foot before I moved here in '88 to live in Jefferson County and work up there. I lived in a small town in upstate New York growing up, very similar to here. The population there is about 3,000 to 4,000 people. It's kind of some of the same challenges and some of the same economic issues going on. Also had some historic areas, historic downtown, and historic Revolutionary War home just outside of town. There's a state park. So a lot of the same things that are interesting here, the arts and history, are kind of the same things that were interesting in that area for tourism and such. And it's along the river also, a little smaller river, the Mohawk River. So also a river town. We didn't have flooding so much up there because it was at the bottom of a gorge, so it was hard for the river to creep up into the city. But so a small high school.
That was in New York? you
Yeah,
said?
upstate New York. It's dairy farms and things like that. It's not the city. We were about 4.5 hours away from the city, so I didn't go down there very much. So like similar to here, it's kind of small town, nice, safe environment. So, and that's kind of what I like. I like, the thing about St. Genevieve is seems very safe. Has good schools, good community. A lot of people that are active in different areas, talented people in music and arts, and just a good small town that people know each other and support each other.
That's for sure.
Mhm.
Glad to
Yeah.
have you.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, now the paper. How in the heck do you put that together?
It takes a bit of work. Yeah, we have a staff of I've 2 other editorial people. Mark Evans, who covers the news for us. We have Jason Viox covers the sports, and I try and pinch in to wherever I have to fill in some holes or cover things that need to be covered. We have an advertising manager, Jill Gettinger, who handles our ad accounts for us. Tammy Miller is our office manager. She does a little bit of everything too on the office side and the advertising side. And then we have a little circulation group. Lindsay Nicholas is in charge of circulation in terms of subscriptions. And then we have a group of people that do our inserts and get the papers ready for mailing, and we also have a mailbag that comes out every week also that has advertising information for people. Everyone in the county gets one of those. And we put in a lot of hours. I know Mark covers meetings throughout the week, and I cover meetings. So we try to hit all 3 cities. We hit the other committees, the commissions that the cities have, like St. Genevieve has the Heritage Commission and tourism, 2 tourism commissions, and there's levy districts, so we cover those, and the county commission, obviously we cover them on Thursday mornings with their meetings. So we try to get to everything we can get to for meetings and to see what's going on in different places, see what the different issues are, what people are talking about. And that, our paper, pretty much the front of it is the news section, and behind that we have the community section. A lot of that is submitted material, and we're very fortunate that between the organizations and the schools, they submit a lot of material to us, and that makes it easier for our jobs if they send things to us, pictures, and let us know things that they want the rest of the community to know about. And that's something we like to do, is everything that we get, we try to turn around and put into the paper so that the
You
readers...
take a lot of good photographs, too.
Oh, thanks, yeah. Mark and Jason and I, we all tote the camera around, take pictures of things. And I think it's kind of nice to get faces in the paper, the local people especially. So we'll go to all the parish picnics and art walks, and obviously the big events like the Jour de Fête and Heritage Days and French Festival. Everything we can get to, we try to get to. So, and then we cover the schools. Like I said, Jason actually covers the sports part, so he'll go to all the St. John and Valley games he can get to in the course of a week, and St. John Valley and then St. Joseph and St. Agnes all send us a lot of information about what their kids are doing in schools, and that kind of, on my end of things, when I'm determining how big the paper is going to be and what we're going to put in each week, a lot of it's driven by how much school material we have. So we try to turn that around and get that in there as quick as we can. And so a lot of weeks that'll be 4 or 5, 6 pages of just school news in there, and that'll kind of determine how much news and how much other stuff we're going to have in the paper also. I think that covers all the sections we have in there.
It's a very nice paper.
Oh, thanks very
Yes,
much.
it is.
It is.
There's
a
a
lot of
building
things.
and everything there. That's an old building.
Yeah, building's 1860s. I think it says 1865 on it. I'm not sure how accurate those are.
Does the paper own the
The
building? or-
paper owns the building, yeah. And it started out as a pharmacy, I think they said, up till, I haven't figured out exactly when the paper moved into it. But-
Was that the Fair Play that was in that building or the
No,
Herald?
the Herald moved in the 1890s.
In the 1890s?
Yeah, and
Where was the Fair Play at then?
it was down,
Oh,
at
down
one point
on.
down the street, down
Right,
Market.
Yeah.
I remember
About-
now where it
about
was
a
at.
one block
Where
down.
Mark and them were at.
Yeah, in the Edward Jones building, I think. The Herald's been there since, I think, 1890 something, so we should be coming up on about 125 years of moving, I think, so,
Wow.
I think. I'm
Have a
not sure what it
big
was before
paper
that.
celebration. Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna ask you
Yeah.
kind of personal, do you own the paper or you work for someone?
I
I'm
own the
Not
paper.
asking whatever, you know,
The
you
paper-
own it?
Me and the bank currently, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that end of it. Well, good for you.
Yeah,
That's-
and I
that's
think
great.
that's
Do
a,
you live upstairs?
no, I have a place up there, so like on Sunday overnights, I will be in the building pretty much from Sunday morning to Monday night. In fact, and then late Monday night, I bring the paper back from Washington where we print it at, so.
You drive to Washington to pick it up
yeah,
every day?
on
I mean,
Mondays,
every week?
Yeah, Monday evenings,
And
when
you
we're
don't
done.
print it here?
No, we don't print,
You-
I'm not sure when the last time they had a press in there.
Do you have
Presses
a line
were-
of type and such here, or?
Back before I got here, they did.
Yes, there was, I remember, because I
But
did
they
a
don't-
kid's book.
You don't have it
and-
now?
No, we have
Okay.
some small components that were part of the machinations back then.
I'm sorry, I have a personal reason for asking. Back in about 51 or 2, I was in Salem, Missouri, and I wanted to go to work, so the only job I could get was hand setting the
Uh-huh.
type for the headlines. I mean, I was
Yeah.
greasing ink up to here, had to get in the barrel, you know, and get it out, set it, clean it up. 50 cents an hour. But I loved it. I just
Yeah.
had a ball.
I
really
can't imagine
enjoyed it.
the way they did things to get papers out back then.
They
It's hard to believe.
had
Yeah.
a linotype, but I think it was a pretty new thing at that time, back 51 or 2 back at that
Mhm.
time.
When I started at a newspaper in New York in '87, we were using typewriters, and then we'd type the copy and bring it back to someone who would type it in again
Uh-huh.
to print out the computer tape that had a bunch of holes in it, and then they'd put that on a machine, and then that would generate the film
Uh-huh.
that had the copy on it. And then
Oh my
we'd actually
gosh.
cut and paste that into a board, and then take a picture of the board to make a negative, and then make the plate for the press from there, so.
Oh, for Pete's
Uh-huh.
sake, that was a
And-
lot of work too.
Yeah, and we'd start, that was a daily paper, so we'd start at like 5 in the morning and try and do all that by noon
Oh
time.
my
Yeah.
gosh. I didn't realize all that.
Oh, there's a lot, yeah, back then, I know.
Boy, kids these days have it so easy.
Yeah, they do, don't they? They
Yeah.
don't
The
know.
computers are nice.
They don't
yeah.
lay it
They
out
don't
and
know.
run it through, you know, it was
Yeah.
a small paper like the Herald, you know.
Yeah, no, everything's on computer now, so we have the full pages on computer. And we save them as a certain type of file and then send them electronically to Washington. And they print a lot of papers up there. I can't remember the exact number. I know they talk about even how many different languages they print in.
Oh,
Because there's a lot
really?
of St. Louis area, suburban, small
Oh,
niche
right.
newspapers that print in Chinese and Korean and Italian.
That's
All these different
wonderful.
languages that they
Yeah.
have. So they print a lot of papers in Washington. And
Where is Washington?
Oh my
it's
gosh.
along the Missouri River, out on, you take 44, and is it 100 goes up there? 47, one of those roads
47.
that goes up to 100 west, I think I take. to
Yeah,
go to
100.
Washington, about 10 miles off of 44.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Missourian Publishing Company. They print a few papers for that county. They have like zones for Washington, Union, St. Clair. And then, like I said, they have a big press that prints a lot of papers in the region that go there. It's a nice plant.
It's kind
They
of
do a nice
almost a
job.
wine country.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
close
but
to wine
wine,
country, right
yes.
across the river,
Yes, it is.
actually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, or yeah, you can go keep going to Herman, has a couple wineries out there
Yeah,
too.
right close to Herman up there.
Yeah, it's right across the river almost. Yeah.
And they do a nice job. We switched to them in 2013, and I think they do a really good job with color. We're able to add more color to the paper because of what they do both in price and quality. So, I mean, the school pages pretty much always run color when we can. So we run, a good if we do about 20, 24-page paper, we're probably running about half color, which is a pretty decent percentage at this point.
Yeah, doing good.
Adds a little punch to see the pictures in color, I think.
Yeah, they're looking real good.
Thanks. I'm trying to think, yeah, old-time printing, like I said, it's, when I look at the old papers, we do a history page each week. And
Yes.
so I look back through those old papers and,
I like that history where you can,
thanks, I like to do it, actually. It's fun to compile. I get to learn a lot about the
What
city.
happened in
and-
town,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of the same families and kind of how they progressed through the years. And
We have a lot of copies of those at Bolduc House.
Oh, yeah?
Put a lot of that out
Mhm.
to put in our files, for our history files.
Yeah, in fact, I was just in touch with some people at the St. Lawrence Parish up in Lawrencetown because for this past year or so, we've had a lot of stuff in the history section about the tornado in 1917 that knocked down their church, and they had to rebuild it. They just did. They rededicated it in 1918, 100 years ago, and they had the bishop come down then for a service, and then just this past month they had a rededication ceremony to celebrate that
Yeah,
anniversary.
yeah.
And they had the auxiliary bishop came down and had the ceremony. It's neat that people see things in there that are of interest to them, and that's kind of what we
I'm trying to
do.
think what it was. I was with someone, or, no, I guess that was at the library, that I was going through and looking at some old things, the newspaper things at the library.
Mhm. And they have microfilm out there.
Yes.
For both the Herald and Fair Play. And then we also have electronic archive that we're still building, but there's about 90 years of newspapers available electronically through the internet. So you can just sign up with us. We have a fee for it because we went through the process of taking all the microfilm to a company in Indiana that digitized it all. So they put it on a disc for us. So it's all PDF images. And so we go through and we take those images and name them according to the date and the page number they are. And then we go through another website and post them online. So if you want to see any copy of the paper from 1882 when it started until 1965, I think we're up to, then it's all available.
Oh, my goodness.
On this archive.
That's a
And then-
process, huh?
Yeah, and then it goes backwards also from the current paper to about 2009. So we still have about a 40-year gap that we're trying to fill in there, just renaming those files and posting them.
Oh,
on.
Does
Very
it take a
interesting.
long time to do that?
We need to get back onto it a little bit. We had a summer intern a couple years ago who did a really good job and got us through a lot of years, so we're still in that process of getting caught up. But I'd like to get it all up there so that, if you ever want to see anything that was ever in the paper, no matter where you are in the country, we have people outside the area, obviously, that access those archives and like to see what's in the paper. They might be doing family history things, that kind of stuff. So,
Uh-huh, yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of that.
yes.
Yeah, people are interested in that around here.
Yep. And that's part of the, I think, the appeal of the history page itself also, is that we, I'll try and find names of different things, like usually there's a lot of elected officers or officer inductions for different organizations. like
Yes,
Knights
yes.
of Columbus back in the old days. And
Uh-huh.
so we try and get those in there so people can know who some of the people were in town that were active in different things at that point.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
Seeing you told me, you said, what am I going to talk about? I said, we'll talk about you in the paper, and you have. It's very good,
Okay.
very good.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, these things are, when we have guests, I think it's really informative to the people
Oh,
that watch
yes.
us.
Yes.
Because they learn so much about so many different peoples and jobs and businesses and how people became, and
Anybody
they
else
just
have
learn a lot by listening
Any
to us.
questions or anything?
Yeah.
Sam? Lance?
And nobody called us.
No.
When Pat was living,
They're
she called us
listening.
every week.
You called every week?
Pat Parker.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Aw.
She called every
Every
week.
show.
Pat.
And so she went out to, was she at home or she went somewhere, didn't she?
Yeah.
I don't remember where she went, but yeah, she called us, even when she didn't feel good, she
Aw.
call and say hi. Oh, you girls are so funny.
And she was a great resource for,
Oh, yes, for
boy,
pictures.
she gave me
and
all
whatever.
kinds. I bought my building, well, the guy I bought my jewelry store building from bought it from her. So she came over a lot in the beginning to give me all kinds of history. About I know who died where and who was messing with who. And I got all
Yeah, she
kinds
was a
of-
history
was-
book.
Oh, man, she was great. Yep, there were a couple of little old ladies who used to wander the neighborhood, and it felt like they were just looking for somebody to tell 100 years of gossip to. So I would, yeah, because I never leave the block, so I'm always there. So, yeah. A lot of people told me a lot of things.
People then, they contact you if they want to put an ad in, I know. And
yep. Yeah, add news item if they have a community event, anniversaries, engagements,
Yard
weddings,
sale.
births, yard sales, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Would you like to give out a phone number for
Sure,
that?
sure. It's 883-2222 is the Herald office.
Very
Nice.
easy. Yeah, that's a good one.
And you can also email to news@stgenherald.com.
4 twos, right?
42 is the phone number, yeah. And we have the E in St. Genevieve and the email address, so. A lot of people call us the Stegen Herald because it was
Oh, yeah,
when they call us on the, you can tell the telemarketers by that.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Stegen.
Oh, my.
My Google Maps navigation thing calls it Sweet Genevieve, because it's
Yeah.
STE.
Yeah.
Sweet Jimmy.
Sweet,
Oh,
you know, because
okay.
when you say Sweet 157 or whatever,
Yeah.
they abbreviate that STE as well.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah,
When
they
I-
do.
And so, and mine has a British accent, so she said, welcome to Sweet Genevieve.
When I'd come over to see Lisa, I have a Carmen, and, because I get lost. I can make a left turn to get in, and I'll be darned if I'll make a left turn to get out. I think I'm going the wrong way. And mine would say, first time it said that, I thought, what's it saying that for? And then it dawned on me, it's SGE.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and right after I got here, I was over at the nutrition center, and I was writing down some addresses and stuff, and I made them a big mistake of writing ST Genevieve.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, about 4 old ladies I could name right now that come down on me and said,
She's a girl.
That's a French, yeah.
And,
Nobody can see you if you pick up the stuff when you want to.
whenever you want to.
Okay, if you two are finished, we'll
Yeah,
run
you
to
can go
Lance.
whenever you like.
Oh, they can't. Is that what you said?
Charlie will make sure they don't. Charlie's a sweetheart.
He's a good boy.
Okay, Mr. Lance,
All
what
right.
you have been up to?
Well, I'm up to all kinds of things. Have you ever done a story at a haunted house before?
Is there one locally, actually?
Not
There
locally.
was one in
But you could
the
always follow
Sandbar
me. You
building.
could always follow me to St. Louis one day.
They're
Uh,
going, actually, before you start, they are gonna have one at the park this year.
This
The
park
park,
is right there doing
The
that.
park is gonna have one?
yes,
Yeah, they do. At the fairgrounds, you mean?
fairgrounds.
Yeah, they did.
Why
one.
did I say park?
I thought I saw something about
Yeah,
that.
they
It's
did.
kinda near it,
Yeah.
it's a little bit close to it, yeah.
Yeah, they had one last year.
At the fairgrounds are having it.
And they-
Who's in charge of
Okay,
that?
now shut up and you can
Oh.
talk.
The fair board has, there's a couple people that, they did it last year, and I think they'd progressed from having it at a house before that. Some local people had, they went to house, so they had the big pavilion where livestock barn is at the
Right, right.
fairgrounds. They put up tarps around it and did it in there.
They should contact me, but I don't know. I'm busy with all kinds of stuff right now. The haunted house season is coming up. That starts. I have paperwork to fill out next week up there in the Lemp House of Occult this time. The general manager that I used to work for at Creative Visions contacted me this year and asked me if I'd go to Lemp this year instead of Creepy World, where he's at, and be security and costume and stuff. So I'm going to do that. But then the guy who is going to run Creepy World also called me too, said, well, can you come by here too? So I said, well, I'll divide it up. So I'm doing Lemp and Creepy World this year.
Woo, how fun.
Plus, martial arts is still going on too. I teach martial arts still in town, still at the community center. I now teach martial arts out at the boys' home that I work at, as well as my new full-time job out at Rocky Creek Youth Ranch. And that's a challenge in itself too.
Yes.
The boys all have different behavior issues and stuff. So sometimes kicking and punching a bag is better than kicking or punching your wall and stuff, you know. So, but it's hard to show these kids some things because then they can use it on
On you.
staff and stuff too. So it's
Do we really?
kind of hard to do, but also out there, I'm starting this year. I get to do the substitute teacher program out there after school, and we're gonna do martial arts. We're gonna do cooking stuff and other kind of art stuff from whatever I can pick that day to do. So that's pretty cool. I filled out paperwork for that today. Let's see. Ask me a question.
Ask you a question.
Give me a question.
Okay. Do you still get painted up for the Halloween?
Do I still get painted up? Yes, I still get painted up for the haunted house. And a few weeks ago, I went to a show in St. Louis. I went to Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson. I went painted up for that. A friend of mine that works at Creative Visions in St. Louis painted me that night, and I did autographs all night and signed boobs and stuff for photos and all kinds of fun stuff. So I still do that. And with the haunt season coming up, I play the Grim Reaper at Creepy World. So my head's always in like a skull. So we're going to try to, you know, take it up a notch with the skull makeup maybe if we can and stuff. So it's hard to find a costume that fits me too, so I have my own as well that fits me better.
So where is Creepy World?
Creepy World is in Fenton.
In
Right off
Fenton.
141. It's pretty easy to find. There's a big spotlight that,
Oh, I'm not coming.
that
I
shines
don't like
and
that
stuff.
scared.
I did take my Taekwondo
No.
class 2 years ago. Zach went along with that.
No, that
But the one in Lemp is by just right downtown, by kind of close to Soulard. Where Creative Vision Studio is in one of the Lemp buildings. So the guy who is general manager for the haunted house also runs Creative Visions too. So he's close to his 2 jobs now. So he's always been cool to me. He contacted me and stuff. So next week when I go up there to fill out paperwork, I called them and I said, what if I brought like 5 of the boys from the ranch with me for like a tour to kind of go backstage and see how the stuff's made and stuff. He said, that's a great idea. So today I set up the van and stuff for next Tuesday to take 5 of the kids along and show them what I do besides
Well, they'll like that.
take care of all the craziness out there. So, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun though. I mean, I enjoy my job, you know, work with those kids out there. There's 28 boys out there right now from 8 years old up to 18 with all the different case, you know.
Boy, that's a long range. Do they have
It is,
it
we have 2
separated
separate
in
wings,
age
yeah,
group?
yeah, we have 8 to like 14 and then 14 to 18 over
Oh,
here.
okay.
And it can be a little wild sometimes out there. I mean, like, a bunch of kids already have behavioral issues like that, all coming together, living under the same roof, in just 2 different living rooms. I mean, there's issues all the time. So with my martial arts background, it's helped tremendously. And even with like, when I was in between stuff with the lifeguarding job out there at the pool for a little bit, the first aid and CPR stuff came in, just like all like the taking care of small wounds and stuff out there because they're always beating up on each other and
Yeah.
stuff.
So you
So-
said this is a ranch, is it
Well,
kind of like a ranch?
It is,
you know?
like there's horses, there's chickens, we got cats.
And do they take care of these animals?
Well, like there are a few, they encourage that.
They
But a lot of
encourage
these
them to take
kids
care of it.
struggle with discipline and keeping a schedule without somebody constantly like being there to actually, you know, really care about their future and keep them going. Otherwise, they like kind of just start to drift off.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it for a few days and then just kind of fades out. But like, there's a few that have potential and aren't as bad as the other ones, you know, and they do like work in the kitchen and do feed the horses, and there's different levels as you go through, just like kind of like in martial arts, you know.
So it's kind of like you have to be really consistent with them.
You have to, and like, there are so many sad stories out there, and so many kids that have nobody at all. Could you imagine being 13 years old and knowing that you have no mom, no dad, and that your best shot is for somebody just to come in and just basically pick you up and adopt you and just hope it's going to work. I mean, could you imagine being that little and having that kind of a fear, you know, where like, you are so defensive then in a way, you know, where like, you're afraid it's something that actually cares about you, it's going to turn your back on you then, you know, you're kind of, they're kind of afraid to even like make that kind of, or they don't want to like be nice in a way, because
They'll only
they
get
always
hurt.
do say, well, you're just going to leave anyway, you don't care about us, whatever, so it's hard not to get attached then too, because there's some of them, I mean, they don't even let me leave, like, they'll be like hanging on me, they'll stay for a little longer, Lance, please, come on, play one more game of cards, or whatever, paint us, or whatever, you know, let's do something, let's do taekwondo. I have to be to the point where, like, listen, I have to go home, guys, and like, I have to sneak out, because they don't want you to leave, because I mean, the ones, like, there's a few other guys that I work with that really do care about them and go the extra mile and do stuff, and like, it's rough. Like, they don't want you to leave. It's hard to leave them too, because, you know, you have these relationships and you know they're all going to eventually just go who knows where, you know, and a lot of them will act out to stay there because at home is worse than living, you know, there at the ranch, you know, where they have DirecTV, they have a bathroom and a shower. They're guaranteed their breakfast, lunch, and dinner and a snack. We're at home with mom and dad are more worried about getting their meth out of the house to give them a buzz and worry about the kids and getting them a sandwich, you know, so, and to kind of change that kind of mindset too, it's difficult. And the guy who runs it out there, the CEO, he lives here in town, David Bertrand, his kids go to Valley, I don't know. So he's the guy who recruited me and stuff, so. There's 3 different buildings. There's the administrative building where the bigger dogs are. There's the bunkhouse where all the kids are and where there's like certain techs like me, other guys. And there is the other building where they go to school. And they go to school during the day. It's like a homeschool type program where each of them have a different level where they're at. They have a program for them that's all on the internet. It's all individual. They all have their individual little like cubby holes and stuff. They get frustrated a lot. We get called up there to bring them back down because, like, they don't get math today. So they're upset and they're going to slam stuff and kick walls and whatever else. And, like, one kid was upset because the glare was on the TV and threw all the shoes out of the closet. I was like, dude, we just stop? And I was just like, it's okay. We can just sit somewhere else. But they don't hear that, you know, so it takes a different kind of understanding too, just to kind of like let that go and not get upset and just be like, you know, sit down, you shut up, you know.
That's what
You gotta just let it ride because they're not there 100% like they should be, you know, and I was surprised when I first started how they just line up in a row for all their medications and stuff. Like, it's such a, they want their meds, man. They want their pills. And it's so funny how they start them out that little to like depend on that, whatever, they throw back, I mean, it's a whole buffet of different stuff, you know, so, and they are almost like institutionalized in some ways. They get used to that. Some of them that will never like, they will never get out. They're just too unstable that would create a problem in the public, you know. That's the problem. Sometimes some of the boys that are there for just like, you know, busted with different things and they get sent there, they're not as handicapped as the other ones in a different way. They're just there for like kind of bad behavior, but not like where it's something mentally where you can't really change. So you put them together, that's not always the best situation. Like, but what else are you going to do, because they're all unwanted kids because nobody can handle them, or they've all just been dumped in the trash, and so we get them, you know. So, and just like last night, there was 2 kids that got into it, and today they're best friends, you know. They both got critical incidents wrote up on both of them for destroying property and beating each other up. And then today it's, hey man, what's up? Can we have some potato chips? So I mean, it's just like riding a roller coaster out there. So then, like,
So,
I've noticed in my class out here that I have brought that other kind of mentality with me out here, because how it is so, because I mean, we have to check mark them for different things they do wrong all the time. And I've had to like stop myself and be like, all right, Lance, you have to change character here real quick and go, you know, and not have to, not saying be as hard on them, but like, I had to like, I had to switch over. I went to, because I was going from like right there to class, but I've got it now where I go home for 45 minutes, shower, kind of like reset, and then go out there and I actually feel better. But like doing it from without having to go home for just even that little bit, I even asked him, I said, do I act that different? Because like I was just like, so like, what are you doing? Like, come on, get up, let's go. And I was like, man, it's not like me. Like, so just like, because if you're not on the ones out there all the time, they'll just run crazy and do other things they shouldn't be doing. So like, you have to be so on point all the time to watch these other kids. We're like, I was at my sister's house this weekend for my nephew's birthday. And like, I saw some kids running around throwing sticks, and I was like, man, that's a check mark. I mean, they could like lose their star today for, you know, for doing some of these things. And I was like, man, Lance, chill out here. We're not at work. Relax. I mean, but like sometimes at work, though, some of these guys that I work with don't like, I don't check mark that stuff kind of work, because I still see them as just kids being kids. And if somebody actually hurt somebody, yeah. But like, some of that play is just boys being boys, and some guys out there just kind of like to make them miserable once in a while, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But
So is there another shift that takes over when you guys leave?
yeah, there is a morning shift, and there's an evening shift, and there's a night shift. And I started out on night shift, and then I went from night, and then I was doing a day and an evening in there too, so it was just, I didn't even know what day it even was anymore.
Oh, my word.
I was actually sleeping out there too, because it was just kind of open. It's hard to get people to stay out there that have that kind of understanding, you know, and so I'm day shift now from 7:30 to 3:30 or 5 o'clock on the weekends and stuff. I do stay late if we have problems, which happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
But martial arts I said like has helped a bunch, and the lifeguarding stuff too. And I'm gonna take the boys up for a tour of the haunted house to mix it all in together. So it's all kind of, it's all related in there, you know, with martial arts and helping the kids and getting painted up and the haunted house stuff. So it's fun for me. I mean, it's not work if you love what you do, you know. So I mean, going out there and playing dad all day long is not hard. I don't have any kids anyway, so it makes up for it, which is kind of the difference, I guess, with me out there. Most of the guys I work with already have their own kids and are fed up with their kids and their wives and stuff, so I'm kind of like the different guy out there, still out there, you know, going to Tool concerts and getting painted up and having a bunch of fun, you know, so.
Well, what an exciting life you
I know, I
got
mean,
into.
so.
My goodness.
But, so yeah, I'm looking forward to September getting here. Cooler, I mean, I can't believe the weather tonight. How about that out there right
Isn't that
now?
beautiful?
Amazing
All
for
day
mid-August. So,
Don't scare it.
I know, right? I hope the cool weather sticks around for the haunt season, even though this time Lemp is all underground. And I've heard it's haunted and stuff too anyway, and like, they've had people in there before to like bless it and get the evil spirits out of there. So they said once you haunt underground in Lemp, you don't come back out the same or something. They said, I said, well, look at me anyway.
What
That could hurt
is-
me,
Excuse
so.
me, what is limp?
It's amazing.
There is this thing called, I guess, the Lemp Mansion up in St. Louis that's been around forever.
Oh, I didn't know.
And I
And it's
guess
haunted. It's supposed to be
supposed to be
haunted.
haunted and stuff too,
They're a
so.
brewing family, right? They brewed beer, the family.
Yes.
Pretty sure. I'm not exactly sure the whole story, but there's a lot of history to it. I know there's the one big tall building that says Lemp on it, so.
Uh-huh.
And I used to work down there too, and it was always kind of a creepy vibe anyway, because I guess it's just the area. I don't know.
They
So,
do dinner shows there too, don't they, spooky ones?
I don't know.
I've
I know,
seen-
like,
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, who would have thought that the Trans World Haunted Attraction Show would be in St. Louis, right? But it is every March. I've been going to that the last 3 years, and that's a lot of fun. I met the guy from the Munsters. What's the little guy's name? Eddie Munster. I met him there this year.
Oh, my
Oh,
Took a
gosh.
photo with him.
Bet he's not a little guy anymore.
No, he's an old dude now, so. But that's a lot of fun. You get to check out all the stuff and all the new stuff coming out for the haunt season and kind of talk the haunt trade and exchange,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not
make up
into
advice and stuff, you know.
I'm not into that haunted stuff.
Listen, I could see you.
No.
Listen, we could get you in as a witch, a creepy world out there by a cauldron or something.
Oh, no.
Look, listen, little green makeup,
Oh,
black hat,
no. Oh,
you
no.
hold a kitty like this and hold a broom.
Oh, no.
Listen, stand there all night and just rake in the money, you know. Like, speaking of money and stuff too, like there was a few boys out at the ranch that I was sitting there painting some of the kids and doing all kinds of stuff. There was a few of the older ones that walked by, you know, and stuff, and we're all like, man, you guys are a bunch of losers, and said a bunch of other stuff too. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, so I kept painting everybody and stuff, and they kept, you know, heckling us, and I said, hey, you guys want to go to Creepy World? Oh yeah, man, let's go to Creepy World, through the haunted house or whatever. I said, you know what, that's so funny, because like, now you're gonna pay to see me there, what I'm doing here right now. You just made fun of me. I said, it's pretty funny, ain't it? You were just making fun of me, but you just paid me though too to see me at Creepy. You know what I'm saying? So like, I said, joke's on you, dude. I said, thanks for the cash. I said, pizza's on you tonight, buddy. That's what I thought, Chief. I said, why don't you go back to your room? So, one of my moments. So, but yeah, so I have fun with those kids out there all day long. We do all kinds of fun stuff. Depends on how's it going, you know. So
How their day's going.
how their day's going, how my day's going. If they're not driving me nuts. There's somebody else there that kind of has my back, then I can do other stuff with them. So with this after-school program, it's called ASAP. They gave me like $250 towards martial arts to spend, and $300 towards cooking, and like $400 towards art. So I was like, yeah.
Go.
So it's the fuel for the fire.
Yep.
So she said to make a list, whatever I needed. So I was like, all right, well, we'll start with glue sticks, glue gun, magnets, plaster, skull molds, fake blood, liquid latex. We can go on and on. But anyway. So anyway, thanks for having me this evening.
Well,
I'll let
thank you
know
for
how
coming.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
the haunted house season goes. If you want to come up there and check things out,
Oh,
if
no.
you want to go up there one evening, follow.
I don't think so.
I'll show you
I had
underground.
enough when, see, I work at the, I don't think it's work, but I'm an archivist for the Bolduc group.
Okay.
The New France, so they got a big new name now. And we we're working upstairs at the, oh heavens, Linden House. Yeah, thank you. Upstairs at the Linden House. And I got to where I was pretty sure I had somebody coming around and visiting me every once in a while, and then they'd go away, but it didn't bother me that way.
Well, you know, like,
But I do not like scary things.
the building I live in here, the Gregoire building, it was built in 1830, like, I don't know what its history is, because nobody's really ever, like, straight up told me what it was, but, like, I've always thought I've heard weird things in there, and,
Really?
like, one night the light was on in the basement, I don't know why. One night my shower was on, I don't know why. And one night, this is the best one too, and I still get goosebumps from it. I was laying in bed, I was second degree black belt too at the time, and I was laying in bed, and I swear, that somebody was out in the stairwell asking for pudding. It was enough where I got out of bed, and I was just like, Lance, are you really freaking out right now? You're a second degree black belt, and you think that somebody's in your stairwell asking for pudding at 11 o'clock at night.
Are you up on the upper floor at the very top?
Yeah, I'm on third floor. So, then it stopped. I don't know what it was. But somebody told me that it used to be maybe a hotel too or something a long time ago, and they had people downstairs. They'd call upstairs for food and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it was some ghost of some warrior that was wanting to deliver pudding to somebody. I don't know. So, but that was enough to get me out of bed.
Oh my gosh.
Up there one night a long time ago.
One of my friends used to live there when they first got married. I don't ever remember her saying anything. They were
Why?
on the second
I
floor.
think you have to be attuned to some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
they were on the second floor.
Well, I mean,
Now, I'm more so attuned to something like that. And the lady I worked with, she would know what I was talking about. I could feel something, and then there was a musky odor would come around, and it would upset me. I'd cough, And I finally got to where I'd say, well, sweetie, I've had enough of you today. Just move on. I got to get my work done. And it would go away.
Well, you can
You know,
talk to
like-
them spirits and you're pretty good.
I don't know.
I don't know what the deal was, but.
I mean, energy has to go somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know where exactly, but, yeah,
Yeah, there's some weird stories.
Halloween, we should do Halloween stories here.
One of my cousins.
Tales of Halloween stories from St. Genevieve.
One of my cousins
There's
down.
probably some skeletons in the closet somewhere around here, I'm sure. Might wake the dead on that. But one more thing about Halloween though. Do you ever go to Hobby Lobby much?
Not
Not
much.
too much.
I mean, the arts and crafts store?
Yeah.
Well, one of my haunt buddies told me to go to Michael's. Ever heard of Michael's?
Oh, yeah,
You ever been to Michael's before?
I have.
Oh my God, the Halloween stuff there is awesome. A friend of mine was like, man, go check out Michael's. They got some awesome Halloween stuff. And I was just like, oh, man, I'll go check it out. Usually, I've never been to Michael's before. There's one in Gravois Bluffs, so I went in there. I was like, oh my God, look at all this cool Halloween stuff in here. So I thought it was awesome. So
Where
if you're looking for Halloween decorations, go to Michael's.
What are you
Awesome
gonna do
stuff.
with them?
What?
With all your decorations, or did you buy
Well, I
them?
decorate my apartment. I mean, nobody really comes up there, but like I still decorate for myself. Sit there in the dark with my Halloween lights on. You know, just, ooh. Anyway,
Okay, so coming up this week is, next Friday is Fourth Friday again. And of course, as usual, there are many venues open, many businesses. So come on down, 6 to 9.
we didn't even talk about pumpkin carving either. My God.
You'll have to come
Okay,
back
let
and
me
talk
see
about
what- how
I'm
much-
just kidding. I'm just saying.
You know, you can talk about your pumpkin carving, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
It's only 8 o'clock, you're good.
I know I wasn't sure if we stopped the date, but last year was the first year I didn't carve that many pumpkins for some reason. I was so busy out the ranch with the boys doing this stuff. But,
Oh, really?
But last year, one of the pumpkin farms in Perryville donated 30 pumpkins. So a few of the boys got the chance to carve a few of them when I had the chance. But I had to supervise because of the knives and stuff, which made it a little bit, took a lot more time. But so there's a lot of pumpkins that got wasted too because we ran out of time and just kind of some mismanagement and stuff too. So I said this year, since they said they were going to donate the pumpkins again, I said, well, I'll control it this year, and I'll do it the way I want to do it so we don't waste any pumpkins. So I talked to another guy out there, and I said, we should really rock Halloween out here this year. If we do what I have in mind and do this this plan that I have, because since I've had some haunt experience now for a while, and I know how to run the haunt a little bit, so I was telling him we could definitely blow it out of the water if we do it right out there. So I'm looking forward to that.
So you're gonna make a haunted
House
place
out at the ranch,
at the
yes.
ranch.
Depends on how much of the staff gets into it, you know. I mean, some people aren't that much into Halloween.
Well, you're
like
gonna
I am.
have to give carving lessons beforehand to all the adults out there,
True, like,
because your pumpkins are really.
well, yeah, my pumpkins are really cool, and there's a few kids that you can tell that are more into art and kind of in that stuff that do a better job. But like the ones that are more juvenile delinquents, they'll just grab the seeds out and throw them at somebody. Which, and get this too, like last year, the spot where we carved all the pumpkins and threw all the seeds at each other, because it was going to happen anyway. There is one pumpkin seed that sprouted and has this big long vine in front of the building, and I made sure nobody killed it either.
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
stay away from it, it might produce one. Even if it does a small one, we're gonna keep it, because it survived from last year. The one seed that made it.
Has it had any blossoms?
It does, it has 3 flowers on it. It does. Listen, I can't believe nobody has destroyed it out there, but some weird things like that where then they get protective of it, you know, like something they kind of like can control and kind of keep an eye on. We're like, it's funny, we do have a cat out there too. They are so protective of that cat.
Really?
It's a fight over who gets to pet the cat and feed the cat.
Oh,
Right?
for Pete's sake.
I know, it's weird little things like that, and like,
It's
Well, everybody loves animals, so
Yeah.
almost.
they
It's-
everybody.
love to clean their shoes out there.
It's-
I know, it's weird little things like that, and like, some of them they kind of like can control and kind of keep an eye on. We're like, it's funny, we do have a cat out there too. They are so protective of that cat and feed the cat. I know, it's weird little things like that, and like,
Do what?
They love to clean their shoes. They will find an old toothbrush and take those old dirty Nikes or Adidas or whatever. They will scrub on them shoes. And they fight to do it.
Oh my gosh, you need some more toothbrushes?
If you got some old toothbrushes, yeah, we can wear
Hey,
them
they're
out.
only $1 at the dollar.
Oh, I know.
store.
Listen, they
3
go
of
through
them.
them too. I mean, but like, you wouldn't have thought that, right? But like, that's a big deal out there.
Oh
to
my.
have that old toothbrush and get a little toothpaste and some water and sit there and work on a little shoe.
They like to see it come
Some
off and
parts.
come clean.
I mean, that's their shoe, so that's pretty much all they got in a way. So they're gonna protect that shoe. And that's how they kind of, they worry about their appearance too, because when you go to school, you're from a boys' home, you're kind of already like labeled, a little bit too. And like, there was one last year that got to go into public school and had a tough time because of where he was from, because he came from our facility and was kind of looked down upon anyway. So with the appearance being everything at school, those shoes are a big, big, big deal. And listen, you talk about fight over Air Jordans in there, oh my God. Let's say if some kid goes on a pass and they go with their parents and they get like a new pair of shoes or something, a lot of times we have to make sure they're in a certain spot because somebody else will try to steal them or take them or throw them away or where nobody's looking because, they don't want nobody else to have it either. So I've learned a lot out there too about human behavior.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll shut up. But,
Well, I'm glad you're doing pumpkin carving still.
pumpkin carving, taking care of kids, hunting,
Taekwondo, painting up.
fighting. But yeah, so one kid from the ranch gets to go fight this tournament next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, what's cool about working with the kids out there is like the kids that I work with here in town, and the other schools that I've seen before, the kids that have all the iPads, iPods, whatever, all the technology. Watching them fight's okay, they kick back and forth, whatever. The ones that have nothing fight completely different and want to fight and and they win. So I took a kid out there back in, I guess, March. I would train him for a month, and he beat a brown belt who's almost a black belt in Taekwondo anyway. But these kids that have nothing fight harder and train harder than the ones that have everything that are spoiled. And it's so much more fun to work with the ones that are hungry and fight harder than the ones that are just kind of like, I want to go check my phone. 'Cause they don't have phones out there. They want to do something. That's what kind of makes it more fun in a way, because how kids have changed because of technology and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely.
So when they're out there and they have no phone or no iPad or nothing, man, that's all they got to do. Instead of fighting each other and getting in trouble, hey, come over here, let's just do it in a somewhat positive way. I'll try to keep you out of trouble, so. But there's another one out there that is really strong for his age and how small he is and stuff. So I talked to his therapist today, and I said, well, this one guy told me that he'd sponsor him and pay for his entry fee and stuff. And I said, this other guy said he would drive him up, so everybody's kind of pitching in. I'm going to train him and stuff. So got the okay by the therapist, as long as he doesn't do anything, make a critical incident between them now in the next 30 days, it'll be okay. So I talked to him about it before I left. I said, hey, come here. So I talked to your therapist today. We got the approval. Don't tell anybody here because they'll just try to ruin it for you. They'll try to sabotage you because they will. I said, keep it to yourself. I'm going to train you here at this time or whatever and stuff. You get to go. So I said, behave. Keep that in mind. Make sure it's a goal to work on, to keep your behavior in check and stuff. I said, so go back out and play. I'll see you tomorrow. So that's how I left a while ago. So I do what I can.
See how it works. Yep.
So yeah, it's fun. So it gives me a purpose.
Okay.
So anyway, on that note,
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You're always interesting.
thank you.
Always have a lot of neat stuff going on.
Always welcome back.
All right.
You too, Toby.
You too, Toby.
Yeah. So back to the art walk. It's on the next Friday.
Friday the 24th.
And there will be, I think there's 13 or 15 shops, plus all the stores are open. So, and hopefully it's a beautiful night. It was last time when we had the 10th anniversary. That was super great. We had a nice crowd in town, had the tables full. Outside around, there's probably, gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 or 10 tables that you can sit out throughout the town, through the town and drink wine, or the snacks from the
interesting.
store that they have. Everybody's got treats. Yep.
Get drunk and walk around St. John.
Pardon? Oh, okay, I think I know what
All
you're
the wine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walking around.
Well, I don't think nobody
Creating
drinks
all that art,
much
you know,
wine.
and drinking
Yeah.
wine,
Yeah.
art downtown St. John.
I don't think too many drink that much. So anyway, that's a good thing to do. The shops are nice to go into and shop. And if you've never been to Russ or Only Child Originals, that's worth the trip down there to see that. And then Lucy Winery is very cool. They're a new couple that opened up the winery downtown. They have Brenda Thompson's art in there.
A lot of
And-
paintings of Kaskaskia Island she has in there.
Then up at, I'm going to forget some of the places, I'm sure. At St. John Winery,
That's where the
There-
Art Guild has their,
pardon?
the Art Guild galleries at the winery.
Yes, the Art Gallery is in there. And I'm trying to think, Janice,
Rotary, is it? Is that how you pronounce
The
that?
new lady,
yeah,
the one that
Jan,
was in the papers.
yeah, her picture's in the paper. Anyway, she does really cool pictures with ink. She paints with ink and acrylic, I believe. But hers are really, really neat. They're abstract, most of them. And she's got a really good show hanging, probably. And then the rest of the rooms are filled with the Art Guild's paintings. All the members of the Art Guild that want to participate hanging. The, let's see where else? Judy Sexar's gallery, Jean Reesover's gallery. I don't think Bill and them are having anybody this week. Then you have the stores that carry a lot of neat things. I never can think of the one down on the corner. Eden Farms. There, I got it.
Yeah.
Woo. Eden Farms has really got a lot of neat
Nice
stuff in
things.
it.
But
Then
that new one down
the dress
on St.
shops.
Mary's there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, Sassafras, they have really neat stuff. If no one has ever been there, that is down on
It's very interesting.
St. Mary's Road. It's the old Brooks house. It's painted bright, and
It's very
she makes all kind of board games and all kind of neat things herself, and she has them in there. Then the shops uptown, there's dress shops on Main Street and also up on 3rd Street.
Down in the corner.
And, of course, all the eating places around, they're all good. So you can come have dinner, go out and walk and see the art. Spend the night in our new hotel, Audubon. And also we have the, what's the name of the motel?
Microtel?
Microtel.
And we have
Sometimes
bed and
my
breakfasts
brain
all
don't
over
work
town.
too well, yeah. And there's Airbnbs here now, quite a few of them, so. Anybody that's listening to this from out of town, tomorrow morning at 1 o'clock, we'll be on. And again at 7, 1, and 7 tomorrow, or on Wednesdays, or Thursdays, so. And then the next one till Wednesday, and then we'll be back here on the 20, no, yeah.
The 12th.
No, the 12th.
12th,
We're running into
September 12th.
September now.
Yeah.
So,
It'll be after some Labor Day is coming up before then, right?
it is. Do they have anything in town for that?
Kaskaskia has their picnic on September 2nd, Sunday.
Oh, Cascade does,
And
yeah.
they do like truck and tractor pull down there in addition to the usual.
Yeah, and play
picnic
bingo,
events.
that's neat. Oh, and also the summer bash out at Bloomsdale
Comes out
this Saturday.
25th, yeah.
Yeah, that's always neat. It starts at noon. They're serving chicken dinners at 3. They have all kind of neat things to do.
A lot of
So-
games for kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Horseshoes,
Yeah,
washers.
fun place for family.
Yep. And they have that like a random poultry drop.
Yes, I was,
They started last year. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like the cow chip
bingo, yeah.
lottery
Yeah.
here in town, yeah.
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 And
So, but we always went to that, that's a fun thing. The food's always good out there, they have really good cooks at Bloomsdale.
I think you're gonna have some ribbon cuttings next week also
Where's
going on. The community center, I'm not sure if there's a schedule yet, but the Bloomsdale Mid-America Rehab Building.
Oh, that was in the paper, yeah.
That's gonna have a ribbon
Yes.
cutting next week, so. I think you're talking about the community center's new gym also will be pretty soon.
Oh,
too.
really, both of them? Okay.
We had one this past week, workforce up here open.
Yep.
You have
open
what?
house, workforce,
Workforce up here on
Market Street, yeah.
Oh, they moved up on?
Well, it used to be the MERS Goodwill operated in that building. They switched administrators. It's now a Workforce Development Board. And so they offer the youth programs like the high school equivalency program.
Okay, and that's right over here on
Market. Third,
Market
yeah.
Street,
Yeah.
where the windows are painted white.
Yep, they just redid the building in there. It's pretty nice.
Okay, so that's where they were before,
Mhm.
actually.
Yep, yep. Just did some work on the building and just a different group administering the program.
Oh, okay.
And then I think September 9th, they're doing the honor walk run event at Pear Marquette Park. This is the first year they've done it. It's kind of
Oh, that's right, they
pays
have-
tribute to
Right.
veterans and military,
Right.
in addition to having a run and walk up in the park.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Sunday night, September 9th.
Right. Then the parish picnic is September the
8th
8th
and 9th,
and
yeah.
9th. So there's more bingo, more chicken dinners.
Oh, gosh, yes.
So there's a lot going on and coming
More
on
good
in
food.
St. John. Yes, a lot of good
Yeah,
food.
busy couple weeks coming up.
So if anybody out there can think of anything, give us a call or come on our show and tell us.
Give us a phone call, please. Is the phone working?
It works. We just don't have too many
Hasn't
people
rung since
calling.
I've been here.
Yeah, yeah, I did one day, remember? Yeah, one night I did.
Okay.
So
See, I can
anyway,
remember it.
we'll quit talking amongst ourselves and say goodnight to everyone out there.
Good
So
night.
have a good
Thank you
week.
so
Thank you
much.
for watching.
And thank you guys out there for watching and you guys for being on.
No problem. It's always a pleasure.
Good night, Charlie.